Hey, good evening, everybody. Hey, this is Quentin Samuels, aka Mr. Q, and you are tuned in to Mr. Q's Plugged In Virtual Show, where tonight we're going to be talking about an issue in especially the Black community, but we're going to be talking about an issue that we've been dealing with that a lot of people don't often talk about. A lot of times they look over. A lot of times we kind of sit back and think it's the norm because that's the way we grew up in the community. And we saw a lot of people who dealt with these different things. But I have a good friend of mine who I've been knowing for years, and I mean for years, who is now currently a certified mental illness specialist, if I'm saying it right. And she's going to come in and she's going to talk to us about some things, and she's going to let us know about a company that she has that kind of work with these things. And she's going to also give us some insight, and she's going to allow you to ask some questions, and she's going to answer those questions for you if she can. If not, then she'll just kind of let you know who to direct you to the people that you need to be directed to. So anyway, y'all, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not going to take up all the time. I'm going to call out. I'm going to introduce y'all to Nikki B. White, who has been married in the last few years. So now her name is no longer Butler. So a lot of you may know her as Nikki Butler, but it's Nikki B. White. And we're going to introduce her. And good afternoon, Nikki.
Hey,
All right.
good evening, everybody. How are y'all?
Yeah, I think we're doing pretty good, Nikki. And I'm noticing a lot of people have tuned in. So you'll notice to the side, a lot of people have tuned in. So tell everybody about yourself. Tell everybody who you are, where you're from, all of those good things, your credentials.
So, okay. So first, I want to just thank you for this platform. I think what you're doing is an amazing job, and just to see you, you know, evolve in your craft and graduating and all that. I just want to give you your flowers. Especially Black men on the rise with getting their degree. So kudos to you in this platform.
I appreciate it. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. So I am Nicole. I go by Nikki B. So everybody, a lot of people know me from Bryan College Station area. I'm up here in the Fort Worth, Dallas area now. I'm a licensed master social worker. That's what the LMSW stands for. LCDCI is Licensed Dependency Counselor, and ASOTP stands for Associate Sex Offender Treatment Provider. And so these different credentials allows us to be kind of certified in different areas of mental health. And so from there, my sister and I have started an agency called Center to Rise Wellness Spa Studio. And I was very intentional with the name because of what we're talking about today, the stigma in the community with mental health. I was intentional with making sure that I made it a center, versus a clinic. So a lot of people say, um, are you having a community clinic? And it's just so much stigma in it. And then the wellness part comes from the holistic approach of things outside of just a clinical diagnosis. So we're going to have a lot to talk about tonight I am so open for questions, and thank you for the platform.
Oh yeah. And people, listen, don't be afraid to ask questions. Do not be afraid to ask questions. And I'm gonna tell y'all something. What Nikki didn't tell y'all, Nicole, Nikki B, I'm so used to saying Nikki B. What Nicole White did not tell y'all is that she was actually a radio celebrity for how many years? How many, and you started at what, 16, 15, 16?
Yes, at 15, 16 years old, and I'm always thankful to my bonus mom and Cheryl and Annie and Edward for putting me on that platform. It has taken me so many places and prepared me for public speaking and being comfortable behind a microphone. And I still dibble and dab here and there, so something like this is right up my alley.
Yeah, so and you know me, like, y'all, I like the mic, but this is something different. And the reason I'm doing it is because, like I say, I'm working on my master's in journalism. I'm almost finished. So I was like, well, hey, how do I practice? How do I perfect my craft? Is you always make your own platform. And I believe in making my own platform. And y'all know that my mentor is Mr. Roland Martin. I've sent messages and, kind of message him and everything. But like, I feel like we as blacks, we definitely need to start making our own platform, because a lot of times we're not allowed to be on the mainstream platforms. And when we're not, we have to have the mentality to say, hey, I want to do it myself, just like your business. There are a lot of businesses out there like that. But I promise you that when our people go into those businesses, they do not get the treatment or the respect that they deserve. And people don't want to admit that, but it happens. We can walk into a business and they look at us like, okay, all right. And they get nervous and all this stuff. So with you having a business and you and your sister and it's black owned and y'all are black professionals in the field that you open the business in, that helps a lot of blacks out. It does. And we're going to talk about that tonight too.
I really
Uh,
do.
and we have some black owned businesses that are going to come in tonight and talk about the business. But let's go ahead and get into that this mental illness. Explain mental illness and how um a lot of people, I guess you said, they almost get it mixed up with mental health, but I think you said it's like your sister said, it's like a cause and effect type situation. One causes the
Correct.
other or something. Yeah.
So, if we don't take care of our mental health, what does it transfer into? An illness. And if we don't take care of ourselves, it's the same thing as far as if you have a broken arm and you don't ever go and get it treated, what happens? It might repair itself, but not not accurately, right? It won't repair itself to where it was functioning appropriately. And
Right.
so that's the same thing. And we all have, I think people think, oh, no, um, nothing wrong with that girl or nothing wrong with that boy. Something wrong with somebody. Everybody has went through some things. It all depends on the response to it. And some people can get through things on their own, and some people cannot. Some people need a little extra help by speaking with someone like, but they also have alternatives. We have life coaches now that are getting certified. We have, what else? Not only life coaches, they have like Reiki practitioners, spiritual energizers. You can go, of course, whichever religion or spirituality or duality that serve. Those things also. I did want to talk about real quick, going back when you talk business. And so, it's a stigma going on. Well, it's not a stigma, excuse me, about how Black people are getting treated when they go in to the doctor, right? Or Black
Right.
women have
Right.
been, and they don't get the same amount of respect or the same ear to listen like our counterparts with white people. And it is so important for people to experience a Black mental health professional that looks like them, that can relate with them, that's culturally competent. And so we encourage sometimes to make sure that our clinicians are culturally competent and can able to service our people. It is so important. So sometimes people might not be able to relate to their therapist, and so at Senator Rise, you're gonna be able to walk in there and see people that looks like you
Mhm.
and others as well. So I did want to say that to you, like that is so true about the treatment of Black businesses. Going above and beyond for each other, rather what people say. That's
Mhm.
Senator Rising will be that platform. And so I do want to go back. I know I kind of was long winded. I'm sorry. With mental health. So as I said, mental health is for everybody. It doesn't skip somebody. It doesn't not affect somebody. Everybody has a mental health, just like everybody breathes. So when you come to the realization saying, hey, something don't feel right, I'm isolated, I'm laying in the bed, it's been 4 or 5 days, I ain't took a bath, man,
Hmm.
I'm crying all day, you know, and 2 months go around. 3 months go around, 6 months, and you still in that same turmoil. Sometimes that's considered like depression. Um, and not only that, you depression to others, you go to work every day, you happy, you chirpy, you put on a mask, right? No one knows that you're going through anything, and then one day you just snap. One day you just absolutely snap, and now you're on the news for running somebody over. By all means, I'm exaggerating, but I'm just giving an example. Mental health does not have a face. It does not look like what people think it should. Mental health is us. It's me and you on here. I could have had the roughest day. I could have just been crying before I got on this platform with you, right? And because I know how to turn it off, no one might not know what I'm going through. And so when
Right.
people have episodes or have a outburst, you never know what people are facing. And it's so imperative that people leave people alone, like genuinely. You never know what someone is going through. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, my mic was off. You know what? Um, you said that, and I can go into the schools, and I know it's a few people on here that work in the school system, and there are children that come to school, and they're treated the same way, and a lot of people don't want to admit it. And matter of fact, next week we have a show that's going to talk about um, the culture diversity in the classroom and being stereotyped as our little Black kids in the classroom, and they come to school, and some of these kids, we see everything from kids who sleep on the floor at night, who don't get to sleep because they're helping their brothers and sisters who are mentally abused, verbally abused, sexually abused at home. And we don't notice until maybe we're in the hallway one day and they say, well, I didn't sleep good last night because I was up with my brothers and sisters because my mama, she smokes or she's on drugs and she's always out in the streets. And when she come home, she beats us. So, if I don't take care of my brother and sister. So it's crazy that you said that. And we have a lot of kids as well who they're on medications. They're on lots and lots and lots of medications. But the problem we have is a lot of the teachers, they don't care. And honestly, they treat them, I've seen people treat these kids, hey, you go outside, or I'm calling behavior specialists on you, not realizing this man, his parents cannot afford his medication. So now he's flipped. She can't afford the medication. He has triggers. Matter of fact, could you kind of talk about, I think triggers, is that a part of the mental illness? Like a lot of people have triggers.
I think triggers is something we also identify in the and to see that before you went off and hit Bob in his head, what has been happening? What was your triggers, right? And so a trigger is every time you come into your classroom, we're gonna just use that scenario, classroom scenario. You already are having anxiety because you're gonna get picked on. So you already preparing yourself for it. But you're acting out because this child doesn't know how to say, I'm being picked on, right? They messing with
Right.
me. So instead of I'm going to do something to get kicked out of this classroom so Bob won't be messing with me. So this particular day, this is going on in particular day, he beat Bob up. Just snap, flip chairs over, kick stuff over, ready to burn that building down, right? Um, and so it was the continuation of triggers. The antecedent was being picked on. And so I don't necessarily blame the teachers, and let me tell you why. Even though I do know there are some who don't care, it is because um, the school system need to incorporate mental health professionals, not just your counselor that is in the school, right? Your school counselor. Remember the back in the day when I was in school, counselor handled everything.
Yeah.
So we are in 2020, licensed clinical social workers. And yes, the school system does have some social workers and some professional counselors go to the school and do these services. But just like you go to the classroom and go and study for English and math and science and, IT or tech, you also need to be having a classroom about coping skills, right? About anger management. It should be a genuine class, and by all means, whatever board, if y'all are listening, that I can possibly be on to advocate for that, it needs to be taught. It needs someone in our profession to actually teach these things. If you never handled your anxiety or never handled, or you might not even know identify what anxiety is, right? You might know as a that when I walk in and my heart is pumping, my fingers start and I start sweating profusely under my arm. You might not even know you're having a full anxiety attack. You just know you don't feel right and you start throwing up, start getting sick. You don't know those things. So we need to
Right.
have that implemented in the school systems. Professional counselors, licensed clinical social workers, master's level social workers, any type of clinician, applied behavior analysis, psychologists, psychiatrists, you name it, the people who went the individuals need to be able to be in these school systems teaching these things. And I'm sorry if I get long winded, but I'm very passionate
That's
about
fine. That's fine.
advocating for okay, advocating for it. And then the teachers and the clinicians can come together and work cohesively. The teachers are there to be passionate about their dreams and teach these children. And so if
Hmm.
I have a child that is acting out behaviorally, is it does take away from them. So then you have a extra teacher in the classroom, right, that comes out and helps this kid through the school because we want to be inclusive. Okay, some people disagree with inclusiveness because okay, inclusive, but you're still taking away because Johnny Bob gets more help and the other kids like, well, why he get more help? So then you got to go
Hmm.
through all of that, right?
Yep.
And
Yep.
so I think also it's the teaching technique. If we stop looking at things punitive, you got to punitively. Oh, something. I think we talked about a story like that earlier today. You did something. If we stop addressing these kids so punitively, and in which we already know the pipeline to, to the prison system, school, we already
Yes.
know about that, right? And
Yes.
if we stop
Uh-huh.
treating it so punitively and find their strengths, if maybe we need to refigure how schooling works. You might not be the best at athletics. Me, I can never even do monkey bars. Okay, but I'm good at my voice. So maybe my strength was to be in choir or well, I can't sing like that, but I was in the debate team and things like that. I found my strengths, and so maybe we need to focus and make it a based perspective for students who are a bit different, right?
Hey, and you and
I
you and you know,
found that
I didn't
so
mean to
maybe some
interrupt you right
teachers
there. I didn't mean to interrupt you right there, but you said something uh a little bit back when you talked about um the counselors, and we just gonna call an apple and an orange. I've been doing this um work in behavior, as you know. I've been working behavior for a long time. I'm talking about since 98, 99, and watching the counselors. Um, I've had students to in the high school. I've had students who had major problems, major issues. When the counselors came out, they let me talk because they didn't know what to say. I've had kids uh, from certain uh, placements or certain places that they lived that were not, they were foster kids, and they would tell me all of their personal business in front of the counselor. The counselor did not know how to address that because all they know is, let me help you with your grades, or let me help you get this class switched up, or let me take you out of class room 213 and let me put you in room 220. So you're right, we need to, that needs to be implemented. You need you even need psychiatrists in the schools. I just say it like that. Psychiatrists, you need them in the schools, because a lot of times we're like, me doing behavior, it's almost like I should have a degree for psychology, I should have a degree for sociology, I should have a degree to be a psychiatrist, because I'm doing all of that in the hallway, because I'm that extra person that has to come and relieve that teacher of that kid. So you're right. I think I just wanted to pinpoint that you are exactly right. And that's something that somebody needs to tell the schools versus them trying to do all this other stuff. We need some mental health specialists, mental illness specialists in the schools, literally.
Yeah, I think that that would be a great initiative. So in Arlington, I was working at a particular school through the City of Arlington Municipal Court. And
Mm-hmm.
so I would go in and I would implement different programs. And in those programs, I included meditation, self-care. I would have videographers, cinematographers come out and teach the kids different things that the school might not necessarily offered, right? So now I know you can't afford to kind of go and get into these things, but I'm going to bring other programs to you. I'm going to get to you in this school and maybe get you excited about school. And then we seen an increase in their grades because they was excited to go and see Miss Butler out, because she gonna have this program on Monday, Wednesday. I got very heavily involved in Job Corps. I'm not plugging Job Corps by all means, but I am an advocate for Job Corps. People always talk bad on Job Corps, but when you are in different situations, Job Corps works best for some people. I was a Job Corps student. Yes, I did get kicked out of Job Corps, but I flourished through Job Corps. And it is a very innovative program. And I'm not trying to just plug Job Corps, but I say that because maybe the way the school is not for you. So you struggle when 15 and you 16, you either got one or two ways to go: on the streets or somewhere else where you can possibly get your diploma, get your driver's license, get a trade, and on top of that, get in a college program. Or
Mm-hmm.
not even that, some job corps, depending on what state you go to, will help you become a firefighter.
Exactly.
So schooling, and, I mean, it is so many other ways to get assistance with what's going on in your life if they had the resources, and someone in that school was actively giving out those resources to these kids that are at risk, or SED, which is like severely emotionally disturbed.
Exactly.
Um, and it's some type of referral program, for this. So I totally agree. But I did want to go back to something you said earlier about sexual abuse, sexual trauma. That is so major, not only within the community, but also within the school systems too. Um, and it has caused a lot of trauma amongst some of my youth because they became registered sex offenders by just sending text messages of themselves doing behaviors that if it was back in the day, we wouldn't have necessarily got in trouble for it, right? Because we're in front of each other. Now you have got child pornography on you, right?
Mm-hmm.
That is horrible. That is so bad. So now you are 17 years old, you are a black male, registered sex offender, right? What are
Exactly.
you going to do? So now you have strikes already against you, and you got to remember you're a black male, and it's almost a horrible cycle. We talk about. I know we was talking about sexual abuse, or you brought up sexual abuse, but I wanted to even just touch bases on that. A lot of these youth get in trouble by things that they are just uneducated about. You're not
Hmm.
allowed to send pictures in your phone. These kids record everything. I'm just saying, they're
Yes, they
kids.
do.
They're
They
going to
do.
do inappropriate things. And so I definitely disagree with that. And when and then I think we also talked about childhood traumas, period. So when we go through childhood trauma, sometimes we can be sitting in our car and we can drive into a location that brings us right back when we were 7 years old. Right? We
Mhm.
can see a tree, an old tree that y'all used to hang out at the bus stop, and it brings up memories. And so, for some reason, some people feel like, oh, you should just get over what happened. Your memory, your brain is so that that a lot of your childhood traumas are still stored or they disappear, as somebody says, and then it's that taste, it's that smell, it's that visual, it's that song,
Yep.
a song that brings you back, right? Or it's the way that you had a relationship with someone that disturbs you, that just not right with you, because you still have to deal with those traumas and those, as people say, generational curses. So that's another thing. Generational curses is real. When we talk about generate, well, I know we say, oh, generation, it's absolutely real. You need to look up a law, Dr. Nadine Burks. She does an amazing job on TED Talks educating people about how trauma is transferred in the DNA. Like, she's
Mm-hmm.
awesome, Dr. Nadine Burke. Um, so she talks about that. So she was able to identify how trauma is transferred in the DNA, and we have to remember that we have been through things, and our memory goes all the way back to things that we might not even remember. I'm not
Hmm.
understanding how people don't get the concept of mental health. I just don't get it. Um, that mental health is so real because it is our mental. It's that's what it is. That's. I mean, I don't get that part. And tell
And
me if
it's
I'm talking too much, because I
nope.
will go.
Hey, what we're gonna? Hey, no, that's some good stuff. I noticed we had some. I don't know if you see them down there. We have some people. Well, you probably don't see them, but I see them. We talked about, and this is what's going to lead us to some other things you wanted to talk about. Um, and you talked about. Let me go back. We were talking about how we don't have those familiar faces when we go into places, which can kind of feed into our anxiety or our mental health or our it just kind of feeds it. We walk into a place and we see these people and we know they're looking at us, and all of a sudden we just because maybe as a kid, what I'm saying, we saw these faces in the community and they weren't really pleasant to us. But I said that because um, I have a young lady I'm gonna bring in. She's gonna talk about her businesses and services. She was the first one to come in, and she'll tell you what she is, but I know she does. She's a phlebotomist. I don't know if I'm saying the word right, so I'm gonna let her say it because that's a tongue twister for me. And I did a whole lot of speaking and public speaking and in school for speaking, but phlebotomist is phlebotomy. That's what it is. So anyway, I'm gonna call in Shay Johnson, and she's gonna take a little time to talk about her company and her services. And I'm gonna leave you on here, Nikki. Don't you go anywhere. Stay right there because you might have some you want to ask her. Here she is.
Hey.
Hey.
Yes.
Hey, Nikki.
Hey, Shay.
So tell us who you are and what you do and how does it serve people, and cuz you're one of those people that
Mhm.
help almost provide the training and the teaching to actually get jobs in the
Yes.
medical field. So
Yep.
so tell us what you do.
I am a phlebotomist. And
Daddy
since
is
you can't say it, there you
phlebotomist.
go. um, I started back in 2002. I've been drawing blood for about 19 years now. I decided to, I was in Bryan College Station when I started. Um, on the job training. They just threw me in there. Like, hey, go draw blood. Never knew how to do it. I was at there 10 and a half years. Then that's when I decided to move out here to Houston. I'm a supervisor for a major laboratory. I decided to take my years of experience and move it into someone else, give them the skills that, bring them in the world, the healthcare world, like I was brought into. So what I did was started my elite art of phlebotomy training. My first class was 3 people. Um, and I kind of got discouraged, you know, didn't want to do it anymore. My husband, he was like, no, keep going. You got to keep going. So I did. And I kept going. And now I serve the Houston area and the surrounding areas and Bryan College Station. I come back to Bryan College Station every Saturday and give my community that chance to become in the medical field. Just like someone gave me a chance. And it's been great. It's been great. Been doing it for 2.5 years now.
So
Um, yeah.
talk about your
Mhm.
I had a Nikki, I had a chance to work with her on some advertisement, and I had a chance to sit in her training. And she's kind of like you know how you know what you do, you got that thing down. Like she taught me I learned CPR and how to draw blood in 30 minutes when it
That's
takes
right.
us 8 hours to train for CPR at my job.
Yep.
So it's like, talk about how you use your training, and then tell us
Mhm.
about your elite, the lab that you started too.
Yes. So I train 4 weeks every Saturday in Houston, in Bryan College Station. I go every Saturday for 4 weeks. I train you how to draw blood. I train you CPR. I show you the real world, how things will happen out in the real world. 4 weeks, like you said, it doesn't take long to learn phlebotomy. I learned it in 10 minutes. I can teach it in 10 minutes. It's just the phlebotomy 101 stuff that takes the longest though, but you'll learn that more out in the field. Like I teach my students, don't worry about drawing blood. I can teach you that in 10 minutes. And a lot of them has left my class, got jobs, St. Joseph, Gulf Coast Blood Center. I'm partnered with Gulf Coast Blood Center for the Houston and Bryan College Station. So as soon as my students finish with their class, I can reach out to the HR and let them know, say, hey, I got this great student that wants a job, and that's where they've been going. I just had one just went to St. Joseph a few days ago. So they're getting jobs, and some of these students are single parents. I was a single parent. I do payment plans, so you don't have to do the whole payment at the beginning. I give you a deposit. You can start my class as long as the remaining balance is done before the end of the class. I give you a payment plan. I just want you to get that chance to make the payments, and that's what I give back. So you don't have to come with the whole amount at the beginning of class. So
Hey,
I left and doing that, and then that's why I kind of merged my Elite Pro Lab um, business in that. So now I have my own independent laboratory business. I have an actual brick and mortar where patients can actually come in and get their blood work done, labs and drug tests done, and also go to the patient's homes as well, which I will be hiring at the beginning of the year. I need some help.
wow.
Yep.
So let them know, if they're interested. That may be someone interested. It's crazy, y'all, because I have 2 pages going. Nikki, I don't know if you can see it, but one page has like 4 people. The other one has a bunch of people. And I'm noticing that people are actually going to the plugged in page. I appreciate y'all for doing that. I appreciate y'all for doing that. But tell them about the classes and how often they start. Um,
Okay.
you just told them how long the weeks are, but tell them like how often do you do this? Once a month, every month, or do you have different classes start? How do you do that?
Yes, classes are every month. Like I said, Bronco Station is on Saturdays, and Houston is on Tuesdays, 6:30 to 9:30. Bronco Station is on Saturdays, 9 to 1. It's
Hmm.
for 4 weeks. Um, you have the ability to do it at home as well through the week because we meet once a week in class, and through so you'll be at home as well as in class. And at the fourth week, you take the final, and you graduate, and you'll be able to sit for the state test, which I am the proctor for the state test. So you take the state test with me.
Wow. So,
Yep.
Nikki, do you have any questions for Miss Shay Johnson, or any comments in dealing with the type of job that the training that she does?
Yes, I do. I wanted to bring it right on to mental health to say, when you're helping these people get
Hmm.
you creating plans for them to be able to pay you, you
Yes.
also are giving them opportunities outside of, their area. But, so that's
Yes.
great. I
Hmm.
like to know those testimonial stories. When they call you and say, I got a job, and this has impacted their life positively because now they are being
Yes.
able to provide maybe for themselves a bit more. So those
Yes.
testimonials, I would love to hear those.
Yes. I have one. She she wanted to take my class, and she just didn't have the money. So I just told her, I said, "What do you have?" And she said, "Well, Miss Shay, I just have $75." I said, "Okay, go ahead and start." I let her start with $75 because the deposit is 175. All she had was 75. I let her start, and she paid every week, every other day. She just paid what she could. She had the whole balance done. And when I say she came to me in tears, and she was like, she had 3 kids, she was single parent, and she just was in tears. It's like, Miss Shay, thank you. And then she ended up getting a job, and that was even more tears because she was able to finally get a job. And she was like, I can take care of my kids now. I don't have to ask and bomb, money from other people. She said, you gave me like the ability to get out there, and because she'd never been in the medical field before, never. I helped her with her resume and everything. So we sat down, I helped her with her resume, she got it sent off, and she got hired. And it was just, I loved it because, like I said, I was a single parent before as well. I didn't have no help. My dad helped, my mom, my grandmother, they helped me when they could. But I was out here with just me and my kids. So when I was able to give back to them, that was just like, and she got a job. Now she's excited. So that really helped me. And that's what pushes me to keep going and keep going because I'm helping people out here that has no experience in the medical field, you know, to have it. I helped a beautician. That's all she had, a beautician license, nothing in the medical field. She's working at a hospital right now. She wanted to get out of the beautician, and there she is, and she's working at a hospital now. So that help that makes me feel good to help people transition out of that, the life that they're in. They want to do better, and it was because of me and my program, my school, I was able to move on to that medical field.
What's in the What's in the future for you, Shay, with the mobile lab? I know you was
Hmm.
telling me and Shay talked a couple of weeks ago about you
Hmm.
doing like DNA testing and COVID testing, and
Yes.
what else are you going to be doing? Because you got your own place, you got it going on. What else we got going on?
That's basically about it. I have the school. I start back again in January, so I'll kick that back off again with the mobile phlebotomy. Like I said, beginning of the year, I'm gonna start getting some independent contractors some help. Um, yeah, that's her. That's one of my students that got hired. But yes, I'm trying to get some independent contractors to help me out, because I'm contracted with this company that they're like throwing a lot of patients on me each day the way I just can't do it myself. So in the future for the mobile phlebotomy, I will be hiring to get, more help on that. I got, like I said, I got a brick and mortar to where I will be pushing more. I just got approved with Medicare. So that's something that's going to be starting to be big for me, I know as well, and Blue Cross Blue Shield. So um, I'm ready. I'm ready to, they told me to be prepared of the rush that I'm gonna get, and they rushed it on me. So I'm ready.
Hey, let me tell you something, and I'll say this because, like I said, I had uh, a first like I had that front row seat when I was doing the we were working on some stuff. I'll just let y'all
Mhm,
know and you'll see soon.
mhm,
But we were working on some stuff and I had a front row seat and to watch even they were reenacting what she was doing. Like I told her, I said, hey, just be normal.
mhm.
Do your class like you would normally do. And I didn't know she was just gonna give us a full flat out refresher. And the students that had, I think these students had already graduated from your class,
Yes.
right? They've already got their
Mhm.
certification. They were in there and they were like in there again, like they were like, boom. One thing about it, her training is engaging. So
Mhm,
she gives them like it's not like a boring, yeah, let's sit back. And I mean it's so
mhm,
engaging,
mhm,
and to be able that's a gift. So to be able to sit there,
mhm.
engage and keep these people, and then you're helping, not only are you helping people train to get jobs, you're helping um, people in the community. There are people who
Mhm.
can't get to the doctor. There are people
Yeah.
who can't afford to go to the
Yep.
doctor, if you know what I mean. There are people
Yes.
who are afraid to go to the doctor because they don't know what we talked about this earlier. They don't
Mhm.
know what the doctors are going to do.
Gonna
We,
say.
to be honest with you, when it comes to these vaccines and all that stuff, how do I know I'm getting
Mhm,
the same vaccine that you're getting?
mhm.
If
That's
you know
right.
what I'm saying.
Oh
Look,
yeah.
how do I know that I'm getting the same vaccine that you're getting?
You
You
get
feel
it.
what I'm saying? So
Exactly. Exactly.
um that's the thing that we were talking about as well. So I say kudos and salute because
Mhm,
I am just to see people in our community that are really, really pushing. Like they took
mhm,
this COVID thing. I'm gonna tell y'all, some people counted COVID as a curse. I counted
mhm,
COVID as a blessing because I saw a lot of
mhm.
people get up, get out there and get something. Like Outcast used to say, you need to get up, get out
Yeah.
and get
Yeah.
something.
That's
They
right.
got up there and they got out and they did something. And you
Mhm,
took this and you've helped these young women get jobs, all
mhm.
these different things. And the only thing I didn't like was the needle
Mhm.
thing because I don't do needles. But
Yeah.
you know, so we're
Yeah,
proud of
it's
you
been
and
men and women. It's been men and women. So
men and women. Okay.
men and women.
I was just
Hmm.
about to call our other young lady and she popped out down there.
Hmm.
But there she is. I wanted to say,
Hmm.
man, I just to me it's just like
Hmm.
watching us work, watching us
Yeah.
work. Not only just
Yeah.
uh we're more than bouncing a ball, we're more than throwing a ball, we're more than writing a rap lyric, which I have no problem with
Hmm.
those, but we have to let people see that we can be professionals, we
Yeah.
can be degreed, we can be
Hmm.
certified, and we can help our people at the
Yeah.
same time.
That's right.
So
And
so you
Nikki,
got
I really
anything?
appreciate. I want to thank Nikki too, 'cause like she said, we talked a couple of weeks ago too, and we she encouraged me, and I encouraged her, and she helped me on some things, and she pushed me, and she even helped me get some answers that I was needing to get answered. So I want to thank you, Nikki, for helping me.
Yeah, she all right.
Yeah.
She all right.
Yeah.
Let me. I just look. I just want to touch on. I I just want to touch on that because I'm so thankful that me and Shay had that conversation because this is not the only time we have connected. I remember her husband wrote a
Mhm.
book and I interviewed them and so Shay has been grinding. I've watched the grind, I've seen the grind, but
Mhm.
I'm glad we're talking about black businesses because that connection, it didn't cost
Mhm.
us nothing but love. I was
That's
like,
right.
you know how I am. I'm like, they said what? Let's call them.
Yep.
They said what? And I was 2 days in helping. Like, shoot, what?
Yeah.
And we got answers. I was like, nope, you ain't
Yeah.
doing this no more. And that is the
Yeah.
social work in me. Is
Hmm.
and I think that if more of us take the time to do some type of barter
Exactly.
system, it didn't cost us nothing. So guess what?
Yes.
If my people if she's in Arlington, Texas, or can figure out a way to come get some of my clients COVID tested or whatever it is, DNA, I don't know. Guess what? I'm gonna make
Hmm.
sure that I, refer them out to her. It's all
Yeah.
about supporting each other as Black businesses. And so the other person that you
Hmm.
got coming on, I love them. I can't wait till you introduce them. But Shay, thank you
Hmm.
so much because you have been
Hmm.
shining light for a lot of these women and men coming into
Hmm.
your classroom. And
Hmm.
also, can you please encourage more men to join? I know the medical
Hmm.
field needs to see Black men in that field as well. Not just Black men, but any men in that field, but especially us.
Sure. I will. Yes. Yes. Thank you.
All right, she when she said thank you, that means she ran out of words. So
Oh no. Oh.
your daughter said, your daughter said, "Congratulations, mommy." Oh Lord, you must have her spoiled right.
Yeah, that's my assistant. That's my rider
Lord,
right there. And so she
she
helps
said,
me in the
"Congratulations,
office.
mommy."
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, she helps me in the office and everything. So she's
And,
great help. Great help.
oh,
And there's my dad.
oh, that's your dad. I was like, he was like, "I'm proud of you, love you."
Yeah, yeah, that's my
Oh,
dad.
and your cousins. And see, that's what I'm saying. When you got that support, and that's, hey, Nikki, that's another thing that can help
Hmm.
with this mental health and mental illness is
Hmm.
having a huge support system in your family, because a lot
Hmm.
of times, I'm sounding like I ain't certified with this. I just know what I see around me, and with the families, it's like a lot of
Hmm.
families are not close knit. Like when I see
Hmm.
a family that's at turmoil all the time, there's
Hmm.
something underlining in there that's
Yeah.
causing them to be that way. And that's why I'm so thankful. Like my immediate family, my mom and my dad, we've always been close. As a kid, I did some
Hmm.
dumb stuff, of course. Who doesn't? But
That's
we've
right.
always been close. My aunt, we keep that going on my mom's side. They've always been close. So it's like you have a family. I'm looking at, you got family all up and down my timeline, just blowing my timeline up. You know what I'm saying? What my cousins and uncles and stuff at. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I had to go back, nigga. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm talking about? But but hey, we're gonna bring in this other young lady, and thank you, Shay. And hey, I have something for you. You know what I'm talking
Okay.
about? Yeah, yeah,
Oh
yeah,
yeah, I'm
yeah, yeah, yeah.
ready.
Yeah, I know somebody else is ready too. She been,
Oh yeah, she was already hitting
yeah,
you up on that. I already know.
yeah. So hey, do you have the information about the lab? Can you kind of talk, let them know if they want to
Mhm.
contact you about the
Yeah,
lab? Do you have some information I could post up so they can kind of see it or whatever?
yeah. Well, for the school is Elite Art of Phlebotomy training.com is the website. If you want to email me, it's eliteartoffphlebotomy@gmail.com. If you need the registration form, my new class start for Bron January 2nd. Um, and for Houston would be January 5th. My seats is almost full, and of course, due to COVID, I try to minimize my student limit in classroom. But if you can't get to January, again, I start up in February. Next every month, I start every month. Now for the Pro Lab, is Elite ProLab ms@gmail.com is the email, and my website is eliteprolabms.com. Um, I come to you. If you can't get out, if you don't have insurance, I have a program where I can get you your lab tests done at a very low cost, and you will get the results. You don't need a doctor's note or anything for that.
So I got an inside question.
Mm.
Madeline
Okay.
just walked in my studio and she said, Y'all see my studio back there. Anyway, Natalie just walked in and she asked, "What is the minimum age for the training?"
18.
18.
I've had some 17-year-old, but if you're going to be turning 18 the year of that you want to start school, you can go ahead and apply.
Okay. Okay.
Yep.
So thank you again, Miss Shay Johnson.
Thank
And
you. Thank you.
before we get back into our discussion here, it looks like a lot of y'all are coming. Y'all share the video. Share, 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 share. Oh, somebody has a birthday December 26th. Whose birthday? What? It's your birthday, Shay? Well, I think I got some old candy or something. You know the little candy that your grandma used to give you. I got
Yeah.
some old
Stuck
candy or
together.
something. Yeah, that little candy they
Yeah.
come out like this. Um, so what I'm gonna do, just stay right there, Shay. What I'm gonna do
Okay.
is this young lady took something that I mean a lot of people are doing, but she did took it to another level. I'm talking about business level. I'm talking about taking it, making it your own. She making it her own. I'm telling you, every day, all day, every day, every day. She got the blinging and all that stuff going on. So I'm about to call in Shanika Brooks. Like I said, if you watch Facebook, you will see her at least once a day, every day, at least once a day. And that's what I call working. Look, and she's gonna tell you how she took this company and like literally it's her company. Literally. Oh, Shanika, how you doing, ma'am?
I'm good. Thank you, Mr. Q. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good, pretty good.
Good.
So tell us about yourself and tell us what you got going on with your business here.
All right. Well, I am your leading lady, Shanika Brooks. I'm the proud wife of Pastor Willis Brooks. I am an educator. I teach accounting at College Station High School, and I am the owner of Sparkling Rain, where I am an independent consultant with paparazzi accessories, where I sell $5 plus tax and shipping bling that is lead and nickel free. And like you said, you can catch me on Facebook.
Oh, every look, Nikki, you hear how she popped that out? Boy, she got the tagline. She ain't when you get ready to put that proposal up for that business, hey, they ain't gonna have it. Here go your check. Here you go. You ain't gonna give them a chance to talk. Hey, go ahead and kind of tell us, because I know you got a full-time job, but tell us how this pandemic kind of because I remember for a while you were doing the workouts. You were doing the workouts because I tried to do a couple of them with you, but one of them you started doing the cabbage patches. I couldn't get down because my one of my arms are bad. But so tell how the pandemic actually brought this out because I saw you just boom. You know, most people would started it and they like, oh man, I don't do this no more. You know, I don't. You know, so what made you decide to say, hey, I'm going to make this a business and I'm going to own this business?
Okay, so actually, like you said, I do work a full-time job plus my husband's in ministry, so that's obviously full-time as well. But I always like to get into side hustles. And my husband's like, no, not another side hustle. So
Right.
like you said, I started out, actually, I've done, I mean, all kind of side hustles, Mary Kay, Melaleuca, Beachbody, and just everything. And so my cousin actually owns her own business, Coffee Baby Bling, and she sells the same accessories. And I was a customer of hers. And then a friend of mine opened up her business, and I was a customer for her as well. And I'm like, I'm spending all this money, buying this bling from other people. I told my husband, I said, I should just sign up for the discount. So originally it was my idea to just sign up for the discount, so I can get twice the bling that I was purchasing from them. But once I got my starter kit and I opened it up and I saw all this bling and I was like, wow, I'm going to just go ahead and try this this opportunity. And so I did what we call, like, your starter kit, where you're breaking it out and showing everybody all the pieces. And the very first weekend, I think I did like a Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. And this was in May. So obviously we're, some months into the pandemic by now. But I went live that Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and I did my kit reveal. And I made back 100% what I invested in the business plus some. And so I was like, wait a minute. Yeah.
What?
I was like, wait a minute. So really, I mean, it just kind of snowballed from there. I don't know why, but the first time I went live, I was like real nervous. And I'm like, now I get up in church and I pray, I preach, I sing. Why am I nervous in front of this camera? But I had so much fun and I enjoyed it. And it was like I was just in my element. And so I just kept going. I started building up my audience. I started building up my customer base. And kept going with it throughout the pandemic. And like you said, this is a time where a lot of people are losing their jobs or, losing income. And this is an extra source of income to help my household during this time. And so, I just basically kept going from there.
And you know what? I'm gonna say, man, is I was thinking about this a couple of weeks ago. I've been doing this um for about 2 weeks. And what I wanted to do, I wanted to take it on a different level. So I've even been researching how to if I don't know if y'all know me, but Nikki know, if I'm going to research, I'm going to figure how to take it above, boom, like how to make this just stand out. And the first couple of times I did it, people always come to my live because I'm talking noise. I'm talking crazy. I'm saying all of this stuff, but I'm like, hey, I want people to see seriousness, to hear conversation that matters. So the first night I think I got on and we gave away some money. That was the first time. No, the first time I just got on and nobody knew what I was doing. And my professor told me, say, hey, I need you to set up a platform. I don't know where you're going to do it. Set up something so you can get your practice in for journalism. And we went live the first time and we gave away money. And man, it was a slew of people because we were giving away something. We were giving away some money. Then the next time we were just talking, just randomly having conversation, just jiving around. And I said, well, let me see if we can take these serious conversations that I've had all this stuff written down. And like later on, y'all probably gonna see police officers on here and all this different stuff because that's what I want to do. But the first week, it was like maybe 5 people watching, maybe 3, maybe 4, because I wasn't talking about what they wanted to hear. And what I'm saying is, you see how like a lot of people are watching now. They're asking questions. They're popping on and off, but they are watching. And that showed me what you just said. You can't just give up on something. And I think a problem that we have, and me and Nikki talked about this a long time ago when she had, I don't know if y'all remember, she didn't mention this either. Nikki B had a talk show. She had a talk show that came on at night, and it was called the Nikki B Live Show. And we talked about how many people are going to watch, or people going to watch. But you're going to have those people that want to watch, that want to be a part. Somebody said, "Okay, professor, yeah, man, I'm stuck in school again." So yeah, he's trying to tell me, all these different things to do. But you're gonna have people that are gonna watch. You're gonna have people that are not gonna watch. You're gonna have people that want to buy. You're gonna have people that are not gonna buy. Niggas gonna have people that won't help, but you're gonna have people that don't want help. And some people just won't do it deliberately because it's you and because of who you are. And simply because they probably don't like you, don't fool with you, they don't want to fool with your business. And that's just how the cookie crumbles. That's how it falls. The leaves fall from the tree. So I want to say salute to you. And man, look, like you took that thing. Nikki, you got something to say because you moving around and stuff. Like, you moving around, you want to say something. Oh, she got her mic muted. I'm just talking to her. She can't. Can you hear me, Nikki?
Well,
Oh, there she is.
I just want to comment on. No, I got it now. Yeah. I I wanted to comment on her energy. She came in so explosive. So thank you for that. I needed that. I gravitate to that. So I'm taking your energy through the computer, and I'm glad that she has a product and a system that's working for her. And so I mean kudos to you. I've never met you before, but hey, it's working in your favor. I say keep going and all of that good stuff. And I like that we are all for Black business owners on this platform. And so, yeah, kudos. That's
Thank
about
you.
She
it.
said that's about it. And I'll tell y'all this. I was in class the other day. Was it shucks before the holidays, whatever it was, because I didn't turn in some homework or whatever. But I was in class and I was talking to um, some people that were in class, and we were talking about the community and whatever. And I'm always talking about the Black community, the Black community, the Black community. And someone had, why are you always talking about the Black community? And I had to tell them that's the community that's overlooked. It's overlooked in so many different ways. Economically, it's overlooked. In the Black community, you go to the cities, you see the roads are bad, all this different stuff. They overlook us. So I told him, I said, hey man, if you don't take out time to drive around your community to look around and see what's needed, then you're going to sleep forever. So that's why another reason I'm glad that this pandemic brought out a lot of people. It brought out the hustle in us that we've always had. It brought out the hustle in us that we've always had as Black people. So that's why I wanted to tonight to bring you on. And then next week, I'm going to do this forever, as long as I can. Anybody who has a Black owned business and they want to come and talk about their business. But before you go, I want to ask you to give us your contact information. Let us know. You can even let us know. Do you have a specific time that you come on Facebook, or what are your endeavors with this as you take it further in progression?
So I do have a website, which is www.sparklinrain.com. SPARKLINREIGN.
Spell that again.
And sparklinrain.com. So sparkling, the slang without the G.
Mm-hmm.
And then rain, REIGN. So
Mm-hmm.
www.sparklinrain.com. You can email me at sparklinrain@gmail.com. My business phone number is 979-429-4243. I'm normally live Thursday, Friday, and Saturday at 6:30 on Facebook. Sometimes I do pop-ups like this week with it being Christmas. I just did pop-ups in the middle of the day. I'm available for home parties, vending events, messenger parties, pop-ups. And so basically what the future looks like is I'm actually in the process of becoming an LLC so that I can take it to the next level. So thank you, Mr. Q, for last week where you had the speaker on, branding your business. And so just definitely keep your eyes open because there will be more coming from your leading lady, Shanika Brooks and Sparkling Rain.
Well, all right. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. So, ladies, thank you. And if y'all want to hang out while we continue to talk about this mental illness in this Black community, you can. If not, you can leave if you would like. But if y'all would like to hang out, you're welcome to. So, Nikki, we were going to go back into talking about. We talked about the kids. We were going to go into talking about the adults, the Black males especially, but the adults and the mental illness and how does it affect us in the Black community. Your your mic's off.
It won't.
There you go.
Okay, I'm so sorry. I missed my cue. I missed my cue. So, I didn't know we was taking a little breather real quick and coming back. Playing some more
Yeah,
commercials real quick,
let's do.
if we could. Can
Go
I
ahead and
need a
get you.
little break?
Hey, this commercial is really quick that I
I got.
have, but let's do. Let's do that. Let's do that. Let's do that. Smooth, refreshing, Finetta tea. Whether you drink from a bottle or pour it in your favorite glass, you will still enjoy the taste of fresh fruit and ingredients that will keep your body happy and healthy. Finetta tea. So, so y'all, why Nikki takes a breather, we're gonna. Oh, is she back? Oh, while she takes her breather, we're going to pull up the questions that we have. I know there were quite a few questions, and I'm going to see if I can see those. Um, okay, there we go. There we go. I'm glad you did that, Shay, because you said that so fast, and I can't spell like that. That phlebotomy word, man, it's just like, let me see. There it is, right there. Oh, there we go. Um, but while she gets her breathing, I can talk. Y'all know I can really talk. So I want to talk about just kind of expand on the things that she's talked about previously, and I guess kind of open up what she's about to come back in and speak on, because we wanted to talk about the in the Black community. A lot of times we have men that deal with this and no one even knows, especially our police officers. And that's one of the issues that we really have. And I really like to talk about, because a lot of times our police officers aren't trained to deal with people who are mentally ill. They're not trained. So they get the same treatment that everyone else does. They get the same treatment that the normal average Joe, whose mind is all put together, who has everything together, who knows what he's doing, who's aware of what's going on. They get the same treatment. I saw a video, and I don't want to play the video, but I saw a video of a man who was mentally ill outside of a mental health hospital, and a police officer had their guns drawn on him. And it was a sad thing to see, and to see that and know it goes on, meaning that a lot of our people, either they don't have a heart, they don't know, or they just don't care, you know. But mental illness is a real thing that we deal with. Somebody posed the question, Nakia, how does one cope mentally with stress of business and continuing to be productive? Now look, I don't even think Nikki has the answer that. Can one of you young ladies answer that, Shay or Shanika? Uh, Nakia Bradley says, "How does one cope mentally with stress of a business and continuing to be productive?" Yeah,
Well,
y'all.
I
One of y'all
know.
can answer.
Well, go ahead.
Well, with me and my business, I do get stressed, and it is stressful. But what you have to understand is you can't do it all by yourself. Especially, it depends on, you have to do one thing and one day at a time. You can't just put it all on one plate and try to eat it all right then. You have to prioritize your work for the day. Like, okay, I'm gonna do this today. The rest of it can wait. Don't pile it all on you today. Save the rest for another day. If you can save it, do the most important first, and then do the rest later. That's how I do mine. I You can ask my husband. I'll be stressed all day. I'm always on computer. I'm always trying to find new stuff for my business. I'm trying to keep going and keep going and keep going. And he has to mentally tell me, baby, stop. Today, no. So, but you just have to, and that's how I try to make sure I don't put it all on one day. That's how you just have to try to limit, your stress, because it can be stressful, especially if you're doing it by yourself. Yeah.
I agree with Shay 100% about it. I think the kid posed a great question. I know I come in late. You took it down too quick for it. But another way is if y'all want to know exercises that I do with people, um, take a deep breath. Literally, take a deep breath. Stop what you're doing, like Shay said, or make yourself put it down. Remember, self care. If you're not caring for yourself, how to mentally function for the day. Take a deep breath. Tell them, don't give me no phone. Don't talk to me. Give me about 5 minutes. And that reset breathing exercises. So something I do with some of my clients is I do a breathing exercise, and I say, oh, breathe and hold it on 5, 4, 2. Good. In addition to that is staying organized. I'm sure y'all probably already covered that. Guys, and then whatever you don't get to, like kind of what Shay said, it's okay. You have the next day, unless it's like insurance and you don't. But if it's something that's not as
Oh,
am I up?
yeah, you're kind of jumping in and out. Um, you know what I'm going to do? Real quick. Yeah,
Hello?
we're back. We hear you. You kind of jumped out on us for a minute there. You hit your mic. There you go. You back. So what I'm gonna do, Nikki,
Okay.
I'm gonna pull in what I told you I was gonna do. I'm gonna kind of give them a sample of uh the type of exercise that you do. Uh if you don't mind. I'm gonna do this out. Yeah, so I'm
Okay,
gonna play
cool.
that and let people kind of hear what type of exercises that you do when you kind of like helping people kind of relieve the stress mentally. And so this may even help some of you all on here. So I'm going to play that for a second. Give me a second here. Let's see.
Beautiful.
I am beautiful.
I am smart.
I am smart.
I am dedicated.
I am dedicated.
I am love.
I am love.
I am peace.
I am peace.
I am queen.
I am queen.
Take a deep breath in through your nose and breathe out your mouth. Those breaths are our resets. Let's reset our thoughts. Let's manifest greatness. There is purpose behind your life. Create the change you need for your life. Challenge yourself to do that thing you've been scared to do. Get out of your own way. There is power within the transition. What did you learn from the transition that you went through? You are the reason things are able to happen in your life. You are the power that is within you. You are the strength that is within you. You are the prize. Are you ready to rise? I want you to continue to focus on your breaths, breathing in and breathing out. Take this 1 minute to manifest great things. Now, as you come in and end with your last breath, breathe in and breathe out. I want to thank you for choosing you and manifesting great things in your life. Just take a minute a day to manifest those great things. A minute a day to reset your breaths. Until next time, are you ready to rise?
So that is what um that is what they do at Nikki does at Center to Rise. And I don't know if y'all knew, y'all see my eyes. Yeah, y'all see my eyes. Boy, I was about gone. I was like, man, look at man. I'm saying, cause y'all don't understand. I do that like when I'm doing my homework. I just play.
Hey,
Huh? What'd you say?
I was gonna say, it. I didn't know you were gonna play the whole thing, and I'm breaking up, I'm off, and come back on. Just let me know, and I'll exit and come back.
Yeah, yeah. I played the whole thing. I was like, man. I was like, what? Look at that right there. Y'all see me nodding. I was gone. What? Um, but y'all, a lot of times you have to reset. You have to reset, and that's to answer Nakia's question. You have to reset because if you look at what I do a lot, y'all know I do a lot. Y'all know, yeah, people know. They see it, they know. And there are times when I have to just get myself together, like, man, shoo wee woo sa, and you have to sometimes. So it helps to kind of sit back. Matter of fact, think of your purpose. Why are you doing what you do? Are you doing what you do because it's just something to do? Or are you doing what you do because you have a passion to do it, and you reset that mind frame and you bring it back in, and boom, there you go. Y'all, I was sitting up there. Shanika, you see me going to sleep? I was gone. I was oh, where'd Nikki go? Oh, she went out. She'll be back. But like, man, I'm telling y'all, this is like the best thing for me to have this type of platform because it helps people. And I had a question for Nikki when she comes back that Natalie was asking in regards to, and it's probably a question that y'all have too. How do we get our Black community to understand that mental illness is serious? And that's a real good question. And when she comes back, I want to know if she has an antidote for that because we don't take it serious. And if we don't take it serious, then the people around us won't take it serious. That's just like we're on live right now, and a lot of people are watching. Some people aren't. Some people, oh, they talking about mental illness. There's no fight going on. They're not giving away anything, or that's just pretty much how the mentality is. It's sad to say, but our community has to rise up and take things more seriously. Mental illness, human trafficking, cultural diversity in the schools, professional development on how to teach our kids in the schools. One of us need to be teaching the professional development in our schools because nobody knows us like us, you know. Uh, so a lot of our kids do have those mental issues that no one wants to discuss, no one will discuss, or people just tend to look over. Um, so I'd say just, it's just one of those things where we have to at the end of the day, we have to come in and say, hey, look, we have to pull together and admit that we have these issues in our community and we have to do better. There she is again. Uh, there she is. She's back. So, Miss Nicole White, I have a question for you that was posed by
And I
the
do
Mrs.
apologize.
Okay, that's all right. You told me you were going to jump out if you had to. By the Mrs. Nadeline Samuels, and she said, "What can we do to make our Black community aware of mental illness, or make them acknowledge it?"
Okay, is number one, stop telling people ain't nothing wrong with them. Have to downgrade what someone is going through. And another way we can expose mental illness is take the stigma away. Baby, you should go talk to somebody. Not only do you go talk to pastor, but maybe you should go talk to a mental health professional. And another thing we definitely should do is when you see the signs, don't ignore them. And some of the signs are what we talked about earlier: isolation, failing grades, change in behavior. When you see something different, see what's up. And it's okay if your child doesn't want to talk to you, or the other person doesn't want to talk to you. They might want to talk to a mental health professional. I mean, or someone different. They might um so changing the way that we think about mental illness. So it's our mindsets as the Black community, and offering and resourcing and referring them out. Hey, I noticed, so I hope that answered the question. I don't hear.
Muted my mic. I am so sorry, y'all. There's a question. Another
Oh, okay.
question. Madeline said, "A lot of the students suffer from test anxiety. Do you have any advice that you can share with them that can help, or do you offer sessions in that area?"
Yes, actually, I am that student. I used to literally break down and cry and couldn't function during sessions. And I'm always bringing this back to Nakia. I was in college and I was like, I just can't do math. I was like in single remedial math that they had, right? And flat out would cry about testing. So it would take me normally or it literally would take me 5 hours. So the way that you help these students, even if you're in college, is go and get you assessed. Go to a professional and get assessed. And so I got into the I had a math disability. It is what it is. And it worked for me. I was not shamed. I needed the help. I needed to get the extra time on tests. And so with teachers, maybe give them extra time, or instead of testing them, maybe some type of test. So be different. I know that's a lot of work on y'all, but maybe their learning style is not sitting down testing. Maybe the test they're to on it in front of you, or act it out. I don't know. Just be creative so you can meet them where they are. If that's possible. I don't know if that's possible, because I'm not a teacher, but that's
I do believe that it is possible uh, to kind of meet them where they are with, and a lot of teachers um, don't do that, but I know a few who do. Um, so I think that if we could kind of like once again, these things need to be taught in the school system. It needs to be taught uh, instead of teaching us how to um, you, it, basically. I feel that a lot of the professional development in the school systems are repetitive. Um, they don't help much because we're talking about the same thing over and over again. I feel that we need to touch on discussions that are not touched on, and we often overlook them. And like Madeline said earlier, 45 minutes is not going to teach a teacher how to address, or to, 45 minutes is not going to help us in the school to address to these situations. So back to what you said at first, putting people in place in those areas versus taking these monies and buying just random random stuff like fences. Um, just taking the money and just buying random things, kind of taking that and putting a salary together, or putting a stipend together for people who teach mental illness, people who work with mental ill individuals, or putting a stipend together for mental health issues. We put a stipend together for everything else. And I'm going to say this, we put a stipend together for stuff that we don't need stipends for. We put grants together in the school system for things we don't need grants for. What we really need them for are our kids. If we say school is for our
I told
kids, then we need to make sure that we do that for our kids. Go ahead, Nikki. I heard you saying something.
Yeah, I agree. Because mental health, it is not, you can't see it, right? You can't see what is going on in someone's mental. So it's not, you can see when you break your arm, you can see when your teeth fall out. So we have this idea, when I say we as a society have this idea, if we don't see it, then it's not there. That is so dumb, but that's how people think. And even in insurance. So now insurance side of this, insurance companies will give us a very low rate in mental health that is not even sustainable. So people think you're going to make all this money, and then you get on insurance boards and you become a clinician, and it's because of the lack of respect for mental health. But I totally agree with, I just totally that concept because of that. If you can't see it, then it's not there. That's just what it is. That's how people feel. But then if you go and shoot up the school, and or if you go and um walk around the sidewalk stabbing people, that's something that they can see. So now it's an outcry. We need mental health reform bill or something, now it's a big deal. We have, as a community, we have to stop being reactive, and we have to be proactive. Everybody goes through some things, and the way that we be proactive is getting in these schools, getting in front, making a mental health day, not only for kids in school, but what about the teachers? It's so many teacher sheroes and heroes in that school system, and yourself that's in those school systems that maybe need a break and don't even know about their EAP benefits, that they can talk to somebody about 3 or 4 sessions for free because they don't even promote those things. It's man, we can talk all day about that. So yeah, if you don't see it, it doesn't exist per society.
Exactly. And the the thing I wanted to say was that if she just said it. Madeline said, how about letting the counselors do what counselors are supposed to do or trained to do? But I'm wondering, are they actually
Absolutely.
trained on that level? The school
So what
counselors.
I'm learning about the school, if Natalie wants to join, what I'm learning about the school system, y'all are kind of like your own entity. And so when I worked in the school system, there was a licensed social worker that was in the counseling department, and there was a actual counselor that was a licensed professional counselor, but
Hmm.
they did not use their credentials within that school system. Our counselors, the high school I worked at, was about um, doing the classes and enrollment. And then
Right.
if there was a problem, like a lot of homeless youth, they would get transferred to um one of the staff there was a licensed master social worker like myself. But those counselors are at the schools are not clinician counselors. So it
Right.
is a big difference. Some of them are not. So I don't know I think they should be called entitled academic counselors if they're doing anything academically, because when we
Right.
go to college, we go see an academic counselor. So that is what's confusing a school system.
Hmm.
I know I'm not on the education side, so that might be a Natalie's question. Why are they putting that type of work on a counselor who has a degree in mental health?
Well, see, and what I think is because they call it a counselor. They should name it something else. They should name it an academic advisor. That's what they should be called. But I've seen what we do have
Mhm.
some that they do their best. They do their best for the most part. I've taken kids down to the counselor's office and they'll sit down and talk. Now, I tell you this, there was one counselor I remember and I'll never forget it. She's retired now. And I'll tell you this, when you walked in her room, I never forget the first day I walked in her room, I took a kid. Nikki, I just wanted to sit in the chair and go to sleep. She had the music playing in the background, the meditation music. She had diffusers putting off this essential oil tea
Yes.
tree. It was dark, like it was literally dark in her room. And there was a little boy I took in there and he was going berserk. When he went in that room, soon as he walked in that door, it was like, ah. And he sat down and she waited for him to calm down. When he calmed down, she asked him, so what is wrong? He started screaming, then he calmed down a little bit. But I believe that her training was a little different because I didn't see that in any other counselor throughout my years working with the school. She was the only counselor I knew, and she's retired now, but she's the only counselor I knew that took out the time to even set that atmosphere for a kid. And you have to understand that you must set that atmosphere for I set atmospheres for kids because what I do, I even you know sometimes I have my room, I have these big chairs. Well, when we had a room, I have these big chairs and I had them come in and they sit down and I would like turn on the laptop and play whatever, water running with music or whatever, and just sit them down and say, hey, sit down, eat this candy and chill out for a minute, you know, and I make them reset and send them back to class. I'm not a certified counselor, I'm not a certified whatever, but I knew common sense how to help this child reset themselves to let them go back to class because I know how I am, you know.
Well, I don't think there's anything wrong. I want to be clear in my statements when I say, I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong for counselors to do their, due diligence within their scope within the school education system. I think what they do is a great job.
Yeah.
Um, and I don't think that you need to also have credentials to provide a safe space. I just know that when those traumatizing things occurs, such as someone trying to self-harm or death by suicide, I do think that professionals that are trained and credentialed in that area should be in school systems to assist in that magnitude. I definitely think that. And I remember uh, before there's any credentials, we could identify someone maybe in our life at school that was our safe place. That was Miss Moody, and that was Beckworth. and Coach Peer for me, three
Hmm.
black women. And even though they might not have been therapists, that was my safe place. So they have people such as yourself within those school systems where kids can feel safe. And even if you need to, I don't know if this is against the rules, but maybe you can say, "Hey, here's Nicole's card. I'm gonna refer." Maybe I need to talk to
Hey,
her. Let me plug myself. So,
I can pretty much say what I want to say as long as it's not against policy. I'm not saying the wrong thing. I can tell them anything I want to tell them because like I say, I always recommend different things with the schools because it's needed. It's needed. I always recommend um an outlet, anything dealing with our kids. I mean, like I told you about the
yeah,
instance about the young man. I don't want to give too much details, but the young man I told you about, I said, hey, he doesn't need to be in trouble. We need to feed off of what he's doing. You know, he needs to be put in his environment
correct,
where,
correct.
yeah. So I always kind of, I
Hmm.
try to recommend things, and that would probably be something I would literally recommend, and it would be great, like especially at the beginning of the year when they used to have speakers come in and talk. And I don't know what happened this well, probably because of COVID, but actually no, because COVID didn't come until the middle of the no, yeah, that's probably why. But anyway, so even on Zoom it's possible, so there's
Well,
no excuse.
I do. I know we about to probably wind down. But before we do end, just to go back on the question that we talked about before I took an extended break, and I'm sorry, y'all. When we were talking about adults,
Yeah.
we mask so much. We mask entire, like literally so much because what are we told when we go to work? Keep your personal problems at home and don't bring it to work.
Mm-hmm.
Ain't that what that's exactly what we taught. And so we are already conditioned to perform all the time. We got to get this check. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what happened. Or I might have just been in a wreck. Or I might have just had the worst breakup. Not the worst breakup. It does not matter. You don't walk in this door and you don't show what you went through. You show up for work. So now people are now coming into saying, "Hey, I need a mental health day." What is that? Someone just told me recently, "Hey, I asked for a mental health day," and they was like, "That doesn't consider like a sick day. Do you got a cold? Do you got a flu?" And it should be very much considered as a sick day. If you need a mental health day to get you together, and that's what you need. So we mask so much as adults. And then when we was talking about black men earlier, I want to close with the black men. So what happens in our culture when a boy is crying? Oh, you acting like a punk. Can't even use that word anymore, but that's exactly what we do in our culture. We call them punks. You need to stop crying so much. You need to toughen up. So you condition him at this point to stop
To
crying so much.
hold it in.
Calling him, calling him. You said, "I'm sorry."
I just said to hold it in. I was just feeding into what you said.
Oh, yes. And so we are yeah, teaching them to hold it in. And so then when they do want to communicate something, now I don't want to say nothing because I gotta be hard. Can't, I gotta show this persona. So we are conditioning that. We have to stop that as a culture. If something is wrong, okay, let's take a deep breath, walk them through it. Okay, okay, let's talk about it. Everybody responds to whatever it is differently. And so we conditioning our boys and to say be hardcore, and then we have a man as a partner, as a woman who cannot express himself. Whose fault is that? It's our culture. Because you can't talk like that. You can't be like that. So we gotta do better. And we have to be more supportive. Sometimes I think a good friend was telling me about, sometimes when you're scared, it's being scared shows up as anger, right? You're terrified, but instead of someone saying, I'm scared, now you punching walls in your house, kicking stuff over, and so you are allowed to experience the emotion. It is you are allowed as an adult, as a human being, to experience emotion. It is what you do with that emotion. And so a lot of times too, we have to have self-control. And sometimes we lose it because we have did what? Mask it all day, held it in, and all of those things instead of saying, let me go talk to somebody. And so that's where I'm at with that.
And we have programs that have been implemented in the school system, different programs that have been implemented. And the program, I still haven't fully been able to understand the specific reasoning behind the program, because what I see and what they say are two different things. Um, there's a program in our school that's meant to redirect our at risk children. Our kids stay in there all day long.
Hmm.
Instead of them changing, it basically makes them worse. If you put kids in a environment where they can yell, scream, cuss, punch, hit, kick, and not have to talk, then we have a problem. And I think at home, like you're saying, at home, they're not allowed to do those things. So at school, they put them in this class. So at school, they're cutting up, you know, giving the teachers the blues. But mama say
Oh,
at home they
Q,
don't.
I'm sorry to
Yeah.
cut you off. We have a question which I don't know if you
Where's it at?
responded, but she has a great question.
Go
Shanika
ahead.
Brooks said, what are your recommendations for people needing assistance and local psychiatrists are booked up for months? She is so right. So that's when you get with your some a lot of people don't know APRN, advanced nurse practitioner. I think that's the credentials. I might be saying it wrong. They are able to script prescription, and there are also some psychiatric nurse practitioners who are able to write prescriptions. And so, if they are booked up, find you one. And I do have a referral for one as well that I can send you. I think out there. And Brian is Georgette. Um, I forgot her last name, and she is a APRN, and she does do see individuals that may need support with their mental health. So I can put her information in down after this show. Oh, and then on top of that, sometimes the psychiatrists are booked up because it is a kind of rural area, but telehealth is your best friend right now. With companies allowing more telehealth, well, telemed for medical, for excuse me. Now that they're allowing telemed, you can see doctors outside of just your area, from my understanding. Now, call your insurance company to confirm that, but you might see a doctor from, Houston or Dallas, mobilely, virtually, excuse me, and that and get what you need. So see with your insurance provider. And I think that was
Okay.
the only question I meant.
I think I was looking
Mhm.
and how did I overlook that? And I think what happened, y'all, I completely apologize. We have people split up on different pages. I broadcast on 3 different Facebook pages, and so the numbers have been split up. Like there are people watching on more than one page. That's a good thing, and I guess it's not so good thing because I can't see all the questions, and normally I can. And I apologize because that was a good question. Um, and then
Yeah, it was.
someone made a statement about when I was talking about the kids in the classroom, and he said he was a para for 4 years. So he knows exactly what I'm talking about. Um, but what I want you to do, Nikki, is because I think everybody has gotten a lot of information with mental health. Um, what I want, like, what are before we go, what are some signs like? Because you said you really can't tell if a person is dealing with a mental illness all the time, but are there any type of signs? Like, are there any type of signs that could make you say, "Hmm, something is not right"?
Yeah. Self-harming behavior. So a lot of times you might see with youth, adults, such as cutting their arms or, on their thighs, and it's a release for them. And self-harm behavior is not always a suicide, a attempt for suicide. People mixed up. So that's a sign. Again, withdrawing, isolation, um, you know, just a change of behavior. Have for the last few weeks, what have they been doing differently at school? Or is John not happy go lucky anymore? What has changed? And we got to remember the environmental stressors. You can be a totally different person at school than you ever at home, right? And
Mm-hmm.
so, um, it's really and then y'all have kind of some data without knowing. Look at the grades. Look at the grades. They did good the first 6 weeks, and then boom, the next 6 weeks, all zeros. Something is going on. Something has
Mm-hmm.
happened.
Mm-hmm. And you know what? I'm
With
I'm glad.
adults,
Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
adults with your friends, you have now started seeing your friends drink maybe hmm, 4 bottles of wine within a 2 hour time frame, 5 days a week.
Mm-hmm.
From we just drinking socially, and they have been doing this repeatedly for the last 6, 7 months. But you rewind it back and remember, well, dang, her mom did pass away. You know what I'm saying? So she might still be dealing with grief and in the death and dying process. It's just so much. It's so much. You can and we were in a clubhouse group, and a guy made a comment saying, he watched get murdered in front of him.
Mm.
And when Nipsey Hussle died, it broke him down because they were very good friends with Nipsey Hussle. He also said, death was so normal. And you have to even think of it like that. If it's so normal in your world and you can't even identify that that is dysfunction, that's an issue. That be normal for an adolescent to an adult where you have a 75% chance of dying because of your environment.
Hmm.
And so it's almost mind blowing that they don't know any better because that's life. So that's a great example, right? So let's take it to this. Let's talk about um uh sex offenders, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
some sex offenders that have been treated have been able to identify. We have been able to identify that they have also been victims, right? And so if you have been sexually exploited and traumatized, right, from the age of 4 years old till about 16, 17 years old, this is your norm. This is your reality. You have literally been having inappropriate interactions with this person for what, 14 years. And we as society expect for this person, of course, to just be fine. So this person has been going through this for 14 years. Boom, they're out and about. They grade high school, they go to college, society, and they do the same thing that was happening to them. I'm just using this as an example. And let me just put a disclaimer out there. No, this is not always the case. I'm just using something to be a bit more empathetic, right? And so then they go do the same thing because it is now their norm that this is acceptable behavior. You know why? Because who told them that it was wrong? Who stopped them? Who who whoever educated them during this that that was wrong? This is a normalcy for them. You get what I'm saying? So
Mm-hmm.
a lot of times we are so angry, like, how could you do that? What was you thinking? What? And you didn't even know this was going on in your own household for X amount of years. It's so many different scenarios why people respond in or do. And yes, people do have choices. And if you are conditioned a certain way, then that is something that is a part of who you are until it's identified that is problematic.
That's
So,
that's that's like I was gonna put something else in there. Bullying is another one of those things um
mhm,
that I've seen. I've seen it. I was around it as a kid. I know guys now that I grew up with that they're still bullies. You know, they when they were kids, they were bullies, but they were bullied. I knew a guy that they would whip him home with a belt all the time, and I'd be back there looking. It was funny as a kid, but now that he's older, you kind of see his mentality. Like he's like our age, and he will not like. He still is competitive. He still wants to, oh, I'm gonna talk about your mama. And I'm like, dude, we're like 45 plus years old, and that showed me like somebody said, hey, bullies have been bullied, and kids in school now, you'll see them, they'll come to school and they're picking on somebody, picking. Then you find out on the bus or at home, that's what they deal with every day, whether it's big brother, whether it's mom,
mhm,
whether it's dad, whether it's the uncle up the street, whether it's that neighbor next door, they come outside, he punch him across the head a couple of times. He comes to school, and that's the same thing he's doing. And like you said, if they don't get help, they'll do it as an adult and it'll be a different level of it, but
mhm,
it's still there. And they won't admit, as a kid, I was bullied. They won't admit that. I could tell you this story real quick.
right.
When I was a kid, I had these three guys. It was three, never by themselves. It was always three, because I was the kid. I wasn't scared of nobody, but it was always three, and they had the jokes, and we would walk home and they would try to fight and all this stuff, and I got fed up. I got fed up, and it took me to the 12th grade. I got fed up. So one day I was like, look, y'all gonna leave me alone. I don't feel like being bothered. You're gonna leave me alone. And it didn't push me to bullying people, but it pushed me to another level to where I just couldn't take it. One day I went in my daddy's drawer, took this nice little old pistol to school. Guess what that ended me? I got kicked out of
Mm-mm.
school. Yeah, I got kicked out of school. I had to go
Mhm,
pay $375 to graduate. All because of I didn't
mhm,
want you don't want to tell nobody, man, they keep messing with me. 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 And sometimes you'll tell a teacher, and what the teacher say? Oh, you'll be fine. Oh, they just playing. You'll be fine. Quit being a tattletale. That was the big name. Quit being a tattletale. You know. So whereas most people took it and they grew up with it and they bullied other people, it built up in me, and my anger just woo, woo, woo wee, you know, cause that's just the way I felt at the time.
exactly. And look, that is that is a great, perfect story. So now take it to 2020. We're going into 2021. Bullying is no longer between you and the three guys, right? Bullying is now the whole status. Somebody recorded, they've uploaded it. It's on Instagram. It's on Facebook. It's on
Cyberbullying.
Snapchat. It's on Twitter. And so, yes, now that one bullying situation has transferred into multiple levels of bullying, and then you have a kid, then you come into professional because Susie Q has self harm to the point of suicide. Try to commit suicide, and and it's because bullying is on a whole nother level. Kids will go to jail behind bullying at this point. They do
Hmm.
not play that up here at the
Hmm.
school that I was at. That is, especially we got evidence of, because of the psychological effects that it is doing to these kids because of social media.
And you
So
know what?
now schools have contracts. Uh huh. Go ahead.
Oh no, go ahead, go ahead. I'll tell you after you finish that. The schools have contracts with what?
I'm gonna say yeah, where you read your school. When kids go to school, they got to read all the rules.
Hmm.
Social media bullying is pretty much in there as well
Yeah, it's
because of the
cyberbullying.
way of the world, right?
And you
And
and you know
so
what?
they are dealing with so much more. What?
You know what? There was a video. I don't know if you ever saw it, but it was the most saddening video I'd ever seen. And this was back when you can post anything on Facebook and they would not remove it. There was a little girl. She was a little white girl, and I think the kids had been picking on her at school. She told her mom, she
Mm-hmm.
told the teachers. This girl narrated, and this was like the most heartbreaking thing I had ever seen. This girl narrated. She was in the mirror. Now watch this. She had, and I think they removed it since then, but she had her phone. She was putting on makeup, and you know what she was doing while she was putting on makeup? She was telling herself that she was beautiful no matter what the kids called her ugly and this whole thing, and nobody listened to her. And I'm tired of y'all messing with me. And you'll see, you and she did all of this stuff. This little girl took her phone outside. She took it outside. She faced it toward the tree. Now watch. She faced it toward the tree, like facing up. This was when Facebook Live first like really came out. She faced it toward the tree up.
Mm-hmm.
She put a rope in the tree, Nikki, hang herself
Mm,
from the
mm,
tree
mm,
in
mm.
a chair, kick the chair from under her, and the girl hang on Facebook Live for like 4 hours before her parents knew she was out there. On Facebook Live. This was on live Facebook. If I could find the video, I'll pull it up, but I don't want people. You can look for it yourself. But she hang herself
Well, let's do
live.
it, y'all. Trigger warning. Trigger warning. Sorry, that was definitely a trigger warning. We should have said trigger warning before that. That is deep. That's deep, but it's true to it. It's true to everything you're saying. So with her being bullied, it happened. It ended that way.
Yeah.
It's a little who now has passed away due to death by suicide.
Mhm.
It's awful.
Yeah, and it's
Man.
it's some crazy stuff. And like this is like something like this could go on and on um
Mhm.
with these
Mhm.
conversations
Do
because
anybody else have some questions?
any questions.
While we wrap up. Yeah, any questions? I see some. I'm only on Facebook, so I don't know how to look at other things. You
But
gotta teach
I'm
me
going
that
in the
when we do
comment
this
box.
again.
I don't see any. Let me
Okay.
see. But I think this would definitely need a part two where I can really get those people in who need to see, because it's one of those things that need to be talked about and we need to understand it, and we need to know the signs, and we need to know how to address it. We need to know the different levels of it, because like you said, our people are really not, we
Mhm.
look over it. We've looked over it when we were kids. Shut up, boy, quit crying. Ain't nothing wrong with you. Stuff like that. So I'm going to look at this other page and see if I have any
Mhm.
questions.
Mhm. Mhm.
Let's see.
And while we're wrapping up, I do want to say if you know someone and you know someone that's in danger, it is okay to call 911 to get you some assistance. Um, we can put out some links for prevention type of services. We Senator Rise Wellness Spa Studio. We definitely are now accepting Blue Cross Blue Shield, Cigna, Medicaid, and we are in the credentialing process of more insurance companies. If you don't have insurance, no problem. We have services as low as $35. So we are affordable and we are accessible. We have given away several free sessions throughout this pandemic for those who have lost their jobs, for those who don't necessarily want to file mental health services on their insurance, afraid of stigma. Um, Senator Ross has donated over $3,000 worth of therapeutic services. And so we just want to ensure that everyone is getting the help that they need, whether or not they do Senator Rise or not. We will help you find support within your local area by referring you out to these people or creating a list of services. Whatever you do, um, make sure and encourage and be an advocate. We mental health advocates such as yourself, Q, that that promotes it. I would love to come back and speak with pastors and ministers because for a lady had mentioned one time when I was in Bryan, I was teaching about harm reduction, and a lot of people don't agree about harm reduction, but it is a thing. So harm reduction is where instead of you shooting up 5 times a day, you shoot up 2 times a day. So in therapy or clinicals, we want to make goals that is realistic. So someone would say, "Well, that's stupid. You're still doing it." Okay. Well, if somebody been doing the same behavior for 25 years, you think they just gonna stop, or do we need to create a plan that is attainable? So I teach about harm reduction. They were on a video game and this lady said, I said, this is a operative who's homicidal, right? Person wants to go out and murder people, right? And so if they are in a virtual world shooting, that is you creating a safer environment, not only for the individual, but for others. And so the lady said, oh, no, no, my son don't need to play that. He got Jesus and that's all he needs. And I said, that is great. That is so great. But it is okay for you to have Jesus and also a mental health professional, right? And so I want to address the stigma where if you go outside of your belief system, that is wrong, and it is not. It is not wrong. It is not wrong for you to have a supplement of support.
Well, I'll tell you this: you have churches that have nurses. Well, I know churches that have nurses. I know churches that have people who counselors. We have people who have professional counsel.
Yes,
Here's the deal:
yes,
what a lot of
we
people
should do.
don't understand is that those are offices, those are titles. They're there for a purpose. Just like when you get sick, you go to a doctor. When you get mentally ill or you mentally sick, you have to go to someone, and listen, I'll tell you this, and you know how I am. We were created with a mind. We were all created with this mind. And this mind was given to
Mm-hmm,
us by God. He gave us, we got the mind. So our mind, he gave us the knowledge to be able to uh help with mental illness, to be able to do all this stuff. But like you're right, people do not teach us those things. They do not teach us those things.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
A lot of people don't teach, hey, go out there, and if you're sick, go get you some herbal medicine. Go get you some teas. Go get you some grass. Go get you some pine needles. Go get you some. They don't teach that because they feel like, oh, you're eating pine needles, you're drinking pine needles, or that's you don't drink pine needle, you know. But hey, a lot of people need to understand that these people were set here for a purpose. They were given for a purpose. Just like that man that was given the mind to build that skyscraper, another man was given that mind to be able to have that gift to go inside your mind and see what's up in there. You see what I'm saying? But we don't. I'm
So
serious,
funny.
and we don't
Mhm.
um teach that. And a lot of times, me growing up, I grew up in a different type of church, so we had those people. We got those people now. A lot of churches don't have those people. Go pray, sit down somewhere, boy. But what we are taught, go pray and get you some help. While you praying, make sure you got somebody to help. Matter of fact,
Good.
while you're praying, if you look, watch this. If you have a person, you got sex addicts. You got addicts who don't know how to control what they do. You got addicts. What do they tell you? Uh, you get you an account. They teach you just like Alcoholics Anonymous. Get you an accountability partner. You got dudes that suffer
Absolutely.
with porn addiction, sex addictions, all these different things. You know, so that needs to be taught. That does because uh, a lot, like you said, a lot of people don't understand that these people are set here for a purpose. Doctors, all types of doctors are set here for a purpose because guess what? The pastor can't
Men,
do everything. He can't do everything. He can't be all of that stuff. He can't possibly do all of that because he don't have all those credentials. You know, so who's gonna do it? Like in
the you touched a good point. I'm so sorry. You be having good points. It's because black males are are often overly sexualized. We talk about little girls being over sexualized, but black males are as well. And it even starts even which I ain't even gonna go there. Look, black males are overly sexualized, and we also contribute to that. When I say our community is almost a rite of passage for the young man to get him some from an older lady, and that is promoting um, pedophilia. And yes, women can be considered pedophiles. So it's so deep and disturbing. And so yeah, you have sex addiction. I wonder what the causes were. I wonder what the triggers were. What was it? Some of the individuals I've talked to before have said, the first time I was touched was like 6 years old, but man, it wasn't rape to me. I liked it. It's sickness because
Mhm.
men often rally other men and young boys to be okay with being violated, and that is inappropriate. And I think that women who do the same types of behaviors as men should get the same types of treatment. But we are a biased society. We give them high fives and handshakes for a rite of passage. But I ain't gonna hold you because we gonna keep going and going
Right,
because
right,
there's so
right.
toxic topics that we can know and
Yeah,
talk
that's
about.
another topic. That's another whole nother topic, and yeah, cause like I say, it's this thing goes deeper than just like you'd have to write a book. It'd have to be this book that you'd have to just read. But what we're gonna do is because it's almost like it's after 10 o'clock, and we've been on here a while, and it's still
Yes,
people
let's
watching.
go. I thank you.
Yeah, so we
Well, thank
appreciate you.
you.
We
Enjoy
appreciate
myself.
you. Yeah, and we're gonna have you back like our other guests. We're gonna have them come back, and we're gonna let. I'm working on something, so I'll let you know exactly what I'm working on. So I'm always working. I'm always working. So yeah, we're gonna have you come back and talk. We appreciate you and we thank you for everything that you've given us, all the information. And y'all remember, we're gonna put this up one more time here before we go. Right here in the Arlington, Texas area, the Center to Rise Wellness Spa Studio at 600 West Park Road, Suite A, Arlington, Texas. Do you have a number if they would like to contact you?
Absolutely. It is 214-642-2769. They can text that number and or call if I do not answer. I'm not big leagues yet where I got an on call service. Please know, please know I will return your call. I will return your call. 214-642-2769, and we will get back with you again. We accept Cigna, we accept Blue Cross Blue Shield, and we accept Texas Medicaid right now. And there are several different Texas Medicaids. So we might accept it, but it's Medicaid that's Amerigroup. It's Texas Medicaid that's Blue Cross Blue Shield. So we just have to run it, and then if we do accept it, I will tell you. But we are in a credentialing process of accepting insurance. Those who do not have it, we have services as low as $35. If you are, we do have some sliding fee scales after that that you have to qualify for. So hit us up. We do telehealth. If you're in Arlington area, stop by the center and see me. And thank you for your time. We'll be opening up in the end of February. I would love to see you guys out, and I really appreciate you for your time tonight.
All right, Nikki, thank you, and you have a good night. Ladies and gentlemen, you have tuned in to the Mr. Q's Plugged In virtual show. Listen, one thing about my show, they can't tell me when to come on and they can't tell me when to leave. Well, not yet, until they get tired of seeing my face. So anyway, ladies and gentlemen, we thank you all again, and we are out. And remember, your attitude determines your altitude. Peace out. We're gone.